Have you ever looked at your life and quietly whispered, "This can't be it all"? That soft, unsettling thought that creeps in when everything seems fine on the surface, yet something inside you feels unfinished, restless, almost aching for more. You go through the motions day after day, ticking boxes, meeting expectations, doing what you're supposed to do. But deep down, there's a voice that refuses to be silenced, a quiet demand from the part of you that knows you were meant for something greater, something truer. That's not weakness. That's the truth calling you. It's your potential refusing to die quietly inside a routine that no longer challenges your soul. You must change your life, not because you're broken, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself that once fit. Change isn't punishment, it's evolution. Every cell in your body already understands this. Nature doesn't resist growth, only the mind does. The fear, the hesitation, the excuses, they're just armor you built to survive. But survival is not the same as living. You weren't born to drift through the days waiting for weekends and pretending that good enough is fulfillment. You were born to build, to create, to expand beyond comfort and predictability. Right now, you might feel stuck, like you're standing still while life moves around you. But feeling stuck doesn't mean you're lost. It means your soul is preparing for motion. The discomfort you feel is not failure, it's friction. And friction means movement is possible. The pain of staying the same will soon outweigh the fear of changing, and when that moment comes, it will transform everything. Because the truth is, you don't find your next chapter by waiting. You build it by deciding that the old one no longer defines you. This video isn't here to give you comfort, it's here to wake you up. To remind you that change doesn't ask for permission, it demands courage. And courage is born the moment you stop pretending that tomorrow will be different without action today. Imagine the version of you that could exist on the other side of fear, stronger, freer, alive with purpose. That version is real. It's waiting for your decision, not your perfection. If you stay with me till the end, you'll understand something most people never do. Change is not a single moment of bravery. It's a series of quiet choices that rewrite your entire story. You will see how every small act of courage compounds into transformation. You'll feel it, the spark, the clarity, the rising energy that says, "I'm done standing still, ye," because somewhere deep inside you already know this truth. The life you want will never come knocking. You have to go out there, meet it halfway, and claim it. The time isn't later, the time is now. You must change your life. Change begins the moment you stop waiting for the right time. There is no perfect morning when fear disappears, no magical sign that says you're finally ready. Readiness is born in motion, not in waiting. The more you move, the more you grow. The more you act, the more life reveals what it has been hiding from your hesitation. Every step you take, no matter how small, breaks the invisible walls built by doubt. Those walls were never real. They were made from your thoughts, your memories, your past experiences whispering, "What if it doesn't work?" But the real question, the one that changes everything, is what if it does? The people who change their lives aren't always the strongest or the smartest. They're the ones who dare to begin. They stop negotiating with fear. They stop giving energy to what ifs and start feeding the possibility that something greater is waiting. That's how momentum is created, not from knowing how everything will unfold, but from having the courage to take the first uncertain step. Every great transformation begins in the fog, in confusion, in moments when you can't see the end but you move anyway. That's faith, not blind hope, but a deep trust that growth happens through movement. You've been carrying potential inside you for years, maybe decades, hidden behind routines, behind responsibilities, behind what the world expects you to be. But potential doesn't disappear, it waits. It waits for your decision to stop existing halfway. You've spent so much time doubting your own power that you've forgotten what it feels like to fully trust yourself. That stops now, because once you start trusting yourself, the world begins to bend in your favor. Opportunities notice courage. Energy follows focus. The universe moves around people who move with purpose. Fear will still whisper, but you'll hear it differently. It will no longer sound like a warning. It will sound like proof that you're on the edge of growth. Every time fear shows up, it's telling you that something meaningful is about to happen. So instead of stepping back, lean in. Feel the fear, but don't give it authority. You are not the voice of your doubt. You are the one who listens to it and chooses differently. That choice right there is what changes everything. This journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to shrink. Somewhere beneath all the hesitation, the opinions, and the disappointments, your real self has been waiting to breathe again. When you begin to act from that truth, you stop chasing purpose and start living it. And that is when life opens up in ways you never imagined. Not because everything becomes easy, but because you finally become unstoppable. The moment you move with intention, life begins to respond. You must change your life, not someday, not eventually, but now, while your heart still beats with the power to choose. Every time you rise to meet fear, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the thoughts that try to control you. You start to understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move through it. The mind will always try to protect you from discomfort, but growth lives inside discomfort. The more you resist it, the smaller your world becomes. The more you embrace it, the more life expands to match your strength. You begin to feel a quiet power awakening within, a force that no one can give you and no one can take away. That force is self-belief, built through repetition, built through action, built every time you choose to move forward when it would be easier to turn back. The most powerful transformations happen when you stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline. Motivation comes and goes like a tide, but discipline is the anchor that keeps you grounded in progress. It's the daily decision to show up even when the world is silent, even when no one is watching, even when you feel invisible. Because every time you show up, you build a new identity, the identity of someone who doesn't quit. That identity becomes your foundation. It becomes your proof that you are capable of rewriting the story you once thought was permanent. The truth is, you already have everything you need. The clarity you seek won't come from searching outside yourself. It comes when you finally decide to trust the process, to let action create clarity, and to let mistakes shape mastery. Every stumble, every setback, every failure carries a lesson meant to sharpen you. But you must be willing to learn. You must be willing to see pain not as punishment, but as preparation, because every challenge you face is building the strength required for the life you've been asking for. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to begin again. The pressure you feel to have it all figured out is a lie sold by comparison. Everyone's journey unfolds differently, and yours is unfolding right on time. Stop measuring your progress by how far others have gone. Measure it by how bravely you continue when it would be easier to stop. That's what real progress looks like. Not perfection, but persistence. When you stop fearing change and start trusting it, life begins to align with your courage. You become magnetic to opportunities because people and possibilities are drawn to those who move with conviction. That energy cannot be faked. It must be built from within. Every decision to rise becomes a signal to the world that you are ready for more. And life always answers readiness with reward. So keep moving, keep trusting, keep building the version of you that refuses to settle for survival. Because the moment you choose growth over comfort, you have already begun to change your life. The moment you begin to act from belief instead of fear, everything changes. The world that once seemed heavy starts to respond differently. It's not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you stop fighting yourself. You stop feeding doubt with attention. You stop giving power to hesitation. You start realizing that the limits you thought were real were only reflections of your own uncertainty. When belief becomes your default, the impossible starts to lose its grip. Every challenge becomes a test of endurance, not a wall blocking your path. You no longer ask, can I do this? You begin to ask, how far can I go? That question shifts everything, because it replaces anxiety with curiosity and transforms fear into fuel. There's something extraordinary that happens when you decide to take full responsibility for your life. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for someone to understand you, save you, or validate you. You understand that no one is coming to do the work for you. And that realization, instead of feeling heavy, becomes the purest form of freedom. It means your life is yours again. Your choices, your habits, your thoughts, they all belong to you. You are no longer a passenger being carried by chance. You are the driver of every outcome that follows. Responsibility is not a burden. It's a doorway to power. Once you walk through it, you can never see yourself the same way again. The old version of you, the one that waited, doubted, and hesitated, begins to fade. You start to see glimpses of the person you're becoming. focused, grounded, alive with purpose. Every act of discipline strengthens that identity. Every moment of resistance overcome builds a deeper kind of confidence. Not the loud, fragile confidence that depends on praise, but the quiet, unshakable kind that grows from evidence. You've proven to yourself that you can show up. You've proven that you can endure discomfort. And that proof becomes the foundation for everything ahead. Change isn't a single decision. It's a series of small wins stacked over time until the old version of you no longer fits. You start to realize that greatness isn't built in dramatic moments of inspiration, but in the silent repetitions of courage. The early mornings, the hard choices, the moments when no one claps, that's where transformation lives. Not in noise, but in persistence. And when doubt tries to return, it finds no home inside you anymore. Because once you've tasted the strength of commitment, you can't go back to indecision. You've seen what you're capable of when you stop running from responsibility. You've felt the quiet power of becoming the person who follows through. That feeling becomes addictive. It becomes your new normal. And from that place, the only direction left is forward. The only choice left is growth. You must change your life completely, courageously now.